morning, traders. Welcome to the TMT Stock Market Strategy video for Tuesday, February 23rd. Well, we did get a nice big push up yesterday, but that was all really in the pre-market. Markets really didn't go anywhere most of the day. All of the gains was at the opening when we had the big gap up. Now, I wanted to look at the McClellan Oscillator, and I wanted to see, are we starting to get into an overbought state already? We're only up 5 days. 4 days, we had a couple of small inside days, and then we had a big up day yesterday. Well, we are getting into an oversold state. Overbought state. You could see that here at the 73 percentile. I'd like to see us get back above 80 and maybe even break back out of that Bollinger Band. We are coming into some value areas, which I will show you on the charts in a moment, that are interesting enough that we may be able to short into. Now, we don't just short into an area where price is there. We want to see a trigger form, right? Whatever your trigger is on your game plan, that's what you want to look for. You know, I use my trigger, and I like to see price start to fail at those areas and start to revert back to the downside. That, for me, would be enticing enough to start looking to short the market. Now, I want to get into the daily indices, and you can see here we had a nice day. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 days up, 2 small days down, and another day up again. So big move, gapping up every day. Most of the morning, most of the trade was done on the opening, and you could see here we had some positive divergence in the MACD and RSI. You can see that clearly right about here. Same thing with this thing here, and now we're above the 50-day moving average. So where do we go from here? Well, 195, 200 is going to be a really big area of resistance, and I think anything above that, I think the sellers will still come in and short this market. There's a lot of traders, hedge fund guys, money managers, and basic investors stuck here at the 2000 thinking that we were going higher. Okay, that did not happen, and every time you see a little bit of a bounce, market gets sold into. Does it have to happen? No. Can we go higher? Sure we can, but that's my interpretation of what I'm seeing in price action and what I'm seeing on the charts. So just keep that in mind when we're looking to trade here this morning. Now, we are above our key support areas of 182.25, 187, and of course 193.50. But again, we're a little bit stretched here. It would not surprise me if the market starts to roll back down again. Okay. Now, if it rolls back down, do we test the lows? I'm thinking that we get somewhere in here, 185-ish, 190, come here, and then start to move higher again. And I keep that higher low from this previous low. That'll give you confirmation that there are interested buyers down at these levels. Okay. Take a look at the Spider 60-minute, and remember that big area of resistance is now support. All right, and you can see that here. Let me just open that up, and you can see that we did open up, and you can see the 60-minute. I'll even open up even more. We went nowhere yesterday. Okay, big gap up, and look what happened. We went nowhere. A little bit of short covering rally at the end of the day. That's pretty much it. But we went absolutely nowhere. Look at all of these candles. They're just basically inside of each other all day. So that just tells you the price action was terrible, and you shouldn't have been trading. If you're lucky, you got 1 or 2 trades off, and that's pretty much it on the morning session. Transports, I'm liking the transports now because of the fact is we have this uptrend channel, which we're breaking out of this uptrend channel now. And this to me is interesting because we haven't had this much strength in a long time, actually, in the transportation sector, in the ETF. But as you can see, we're starting to break back up to the upside. Now, is it just because the oversold condition was extremely oversold? It is possible. But let's make sure we see and get confirmation that the next pullback makes that higher low. All right? And that's what we're looking for. Maybe back to the 20 and then start to move back again and take out this 200-day moving average, which is at 140, 113. All right? So all looking pretty good. If the market can prove itself a little bit more, just this little rally for 4 or 5 days is not evidence enough that we're moving higher. That's for sure. You know, can you trade it long and keep a couple of long positions on? Sure, if you wanted to. That's not the type of trader I am. Make sure you know that's what you are, and make sure you know how to manage risk accordingly. Okay, IWM, Russell 2000 ETF, good gauge of risk. Again, you see how weak this is. It's not even close to the 50-day moving average. So again, have to treat this as suspect because of the fact that we are not humming along on all these indices together. Okay. Next is the daily, and you can see we're above the 50 here in the daily chart. Support at 165. We have support at 160 and then 150.50, the August lows, August 24th lows. Still needs a lot of room, but if you can see here, we have this thin zone, these volume profiles, right? You could see as much as it works to the downside, it works up to the upside. So very little resistance area, so we could easily tag that 200. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be looking for. During the day, I like to see all of these indices moving along at the same pace. I don't like to see, one is moving the other, or the others, or the Russell is breaking down, taking every other indice down with it because it can, or the transports, or the Russell and the transports are moving in, but the other three indices are not moving along. That's not what I want to see. I want to see symmetry on all of these indices and make sure that we're moving along higher. And then if that is on the same side of the trend for the day, and that's going to give me confirmation. That's how I like you guys to use this daily charts and this analysis as I'm giving them to you during the day. All right, next is going to be, and lastly is going to be the Qs. As you can see, Qs have not really made it to the 50-day moving average. Can it or will it? Absolutely, but it's going to take some time, and we just have to take things one day at a time as well. Because again, guys, we got to make sure that everything is in line. Now, we talked about the seasonal build in crude oil that comes in right around March and April. We're approaching that. So I would love to see a market pull back a little bit, take some profit taken, turn into a nice decent sell-off, and then right around March and April, we get that seasonal build peak. And then after that, we should be looking to buy some oil stocks, good quality oil companies, and also make a list of your long trades for equities as well. All right. Hope it helps. Have a great day. We'll speak to you tomorrow.